Hey guys, Rinji here, once again bringing you the worst out of the VTuber community. And I hate this kind of topic, a political topic. I try to avoid all kinds of politics on my channel as much as I can, at least. But you know, whenever VTubers, especially bigger ones, try to get involved in things like this, it usually turns out disastrous, as is for the case of today's VTuber called Aurora, as she tries to use all the current political issues going on around in the world to get votes in the VTuber awards, because there's nothing better than using people's personal tragedies in order to get ahead in a VTubers award show. But you know, this person has a storied history. It dates back a few months ago, and we'll get through all of these, but I want to see the reaction of some people here, because it's really quite special. But let's start off at the beginning, as Aurora makes the following thread. Y'all don't think if I win any of those VTuber awards that I'm not taking the acceptance speech as an opportunity to talk about real issues? I'm thanking y'all, then I'm going straight into BLM, Free Palestine, Congo and Sudan. Like, so many people are complaining about the person running it, but they aren't thinking about what it means to win it. It's a chance to make an audience accountable on a huge platform. I'm gonna interrupt you here, but what do you mean make an audience accountable? Are you of the opinion that whenever there's something going on in the world and people just live their lives not caring about it, even if it's a grave tragedy, those happen all the damn time. People around the world die to some kind of abuse. Doesn't matter what it's caused by. Usually humans, because yeah, that's how it is. Every minute, people die because of it. And you, being the reasonable person, just living your life and caring about those that you hold dear, people you can actually affect in, you know, major ways, not just by talking about, not just by this mythical quote-unquote spreading of awareness that it's supposed to solve something. No, these are real things that affect you. And saying that you're going to hold people like that accountable is some level of narcissism and selfishness that I cannot possibly fathom. But let's continue. Imagine reaching that big of an audience to talk about things that matter. The clout for personal gain. I want the clout to spread more awareness. You all know I have always used my platform to speak on issues. That's never going to change, so vote for people that will make a difference. This is your voice and opportunity too. And then she continues attaching to that thread, so she gets vote for the VTuber awards hosted by Fillian. I'm aiming for these. I'm not a big VTuber by any means, and no matter how hard my audience tries, I may never end up on this ballot, but should be voting for people that represent what you want the world to see, even if it's not me. Again, using all of these strategies as a preface to get voted into a VTuber award show really shows some kind of disconnect and some level of vileness that I cannot comprehend. But you know, don't let her like fancy schmancy words mislead you into what this person is like. We'll see a little bit of that down the road, because all I know and all I understand about this person, that she's incredibly disingenuous, and she will use any means necessary to gain popular. Tragedies of nations, that's all good. Tragedies of personal people, that's all good too. But let's continue, as she continues to talk about how much knowledge she has about the current happenings in global conflicts from Twitter and TikTok. This is sparking conversations, whether you agree with me or not. It's a wonderful thing to see. You should be talking. We should be learning and growing. Use your voice. Lots of people asking questions below in quotes. I would love to answer all of you. There are people asking questions. There are people absolutely eviscerating you for what you're saying and seeing right through you. If you go to any of our threads, you'll see a lot of that. I just can't at this time. Please use this time to educate yourself on what's happening. There are so many creators on Twitter, X, and TikTok who are talking about this with tons of resources. Yeah, I would take the words of TikTok and Twitter Zoomers about a conflict that has been going on for 70 plus years, that has roots at least thousands of years ago. And you know, it's not always just simple. These people are doing bad thing. Support these people because they are the victims of said X, Y, and Z thing. No, when it comes to global politics, it's never that simple. When it comes to matters of people killing one another, when it comes to matters of wars, it's never as simple as black and white. There's always so many nuances to things. And just going support current thing is just a level of disconnect from reality. Let's continue. Even I have a post on my page that goes into all the information out there, especially what's happening to the Palestinian people. I also urge you, if you can handle graphic images, to put your filters on, even if it's not on your own soil. It does not mean it doesn't affect you. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. Global politics do not have to affect you. There are all kinds of tragedies once more going around the world right now. You have your own life to live. Don't have people like this make you feel bad for your life choices. The fact that you focus on yourself and those that are dear to you should be enough, because you'll have your own life to live. These people do not get to decide who's bad or good based on what kind of current issue you support. You're not immortal for not caring about this, because you have your own life to live. And do live it, please. Do not let these people browbeat you. Do not let a VTuber that does mostly loot content make you feel about things like that. It doesn't matter what content she does, but when you talk about issues like this, it's not enough to just, oh, spread awareness, and spread awareness is, you know, just canned phrases like support X, Y, and Z. No, this is not enough. When you support something, you need to be able to, quote unquote, again, educate people completely and have them find out information on their own. This was never as simple as saying, as you know, going to an acceptance speech for an award you apparently won and going, I support these issues, and then leaving the stage, dropping the mic like you're some kind of girl boss. No, it's never about that. And again, thinking about this in those terms just shows the level of immaturity and infantilizing these issues, because once again, I think all of this is just for attention. This person couldn't care a damn about these sorts of things. It doesn't mean those lives matter less. We should be standing with others and being a beacon of hope. Thanks for listening. And then there have been some comments to which she replied to. Aurora, we love you, but please don't go around burning bridges willy-nilly. Or burn all the bridges to stand with Palestine. Palestine flag, watermelon, for whatever reason. Good God, the amount of money I'd give to bonk you. I'm gonna give you a generous interpretation of what that means, and you're not insinuating on prostituting. And I'm just gonna think that you'd give her money to support her cause. It's not that the fact that you want to boink her, quote unquote. Thank you for standing with us in the Middle East, but you don't harm yourself, you dork. When the dust settles, no one would care about us both, so keep yourself afloat. I really think this kind of activism, this kind of political activism has become a fashion trend. These people wear these trends like clothes to show off to other people what kind of good person you are. Because, you know, you always need to tell everybody else what a good person you are and what kind of causes you support. You can't just support them. You have to let anyone else know that you do. But let's continue. I just don't agree that people can't change because I see them do it all the time. It is hard, it is uncommon, but it's doable. We need more people to open their eyes. Most people watching the award show may just not have their eyes open, and not even be bigots. Swaying the people who are uneducated on the topic or have done nothing for or against are the largest target for both sides of the conversation. It means more than you think. Also agree we should be using our own platforms. Now image those platforms growing for people who actually speak up because they won. Like I said, it doesn't have to be me, but these wins should go to people who are already fighting, and there it is. Why don't you use political issues to grow your platform? Just do it. Current thing, good. That's really pathetic. I don't know. I don't have any other ways to describe it. It's just really pathetic. And, you know, there's more because, you know, the VTuber Awards are hosted by Fillian, and people have things against Fillian because she made a George Floyd joke, which people decided to construe as racism because George Floyd just happened to be a black man. So there's another person who decided to answer to Aurora about this whole thing. Sorry in advance for the long reply, but okay, so I believe you're coming from a good place with this, but this isn't how it will work. You need to remember the creator running this built a platform of their awful rhetoric, and the idea requires the winners to be both aware and willing, which is frankly is unlikely, but if they do speak out, you'll still be rewarding someone awful behavior with publicity and legitimacy. Using a bigot's platform doesn't fight bigotry, typically just rallies them against a marginalized group. Again, the bigotry of making, I agree, very insensitive joke about someone's death, but, you know, bigotry because the person just happened to be black, and you really want to see Fillian as racist for that. But let's continue. Rather than rewarding their behavior, Emo, it makes more sense for people to keep unifying their voices and joining out the larger platforms with said unity. A single large platform will never have the power of a community dedicated to fighting bigotry and evil. Mind you, Devil is one of those persons that, went all up in arms about the Hogwarts Legacy thing and people playing that game. And Aurora is one of those people too. And when I said at the beginning of the video that I think all of this is just fake, and the support is just completely disingenuous, you'll see once we take a look into the past about what Aurora had to say about the Hogwarts Legacy issues, because it's really telling. Let's see what else Devil had to say. I think it's more powerful to use the platform you do to keep spreading the resources to help those in need and sharing the news. Going onto a bigot stage and saying anti-bigoted stuff is mostly just a hollow gesture that doesn't really help. You won't convince bigots, and with this I agree, but I really disagree that Fillian has an audience of bigots because of things like this. I really do not think so. At least there's some sense in what Devil is saying here. And there's another person that was very prominent in the Hogwarts Legacy stuff. Of course, he too has to have his moment in the limelight, and quote retweeting Aurora here, having this to say. Aurora is the perfect template for creators with a larger platform should speak on social justice. She doesn't speak on it all the time. She does. If she doesn't do lewd stuff, this is what she talks about. But she makes sure to speak loudly and openly when she does. Literally just telling your followers genocide is bad is the bare minimum. Oh, I'm sorry, the real John. I didn't know genocide was bad until the anime girl with her tongue out told me about it. I didn't know annihilating whole generations of people is a bad thing. I am sorry, I was so uneducated, but now, as the anime girl that shows her ass told me about it, I am enlightened, and I will just know that anytime something bad happens around the world, that's bad. It's not like the news haven't been talking about it 24/7, all channels, all the time, non-stop for the last month. I needed the anime girl to notify me about this. Otherwise, I would be in the dark completely. Let's continue about the real John and what else he had to say. I don't expect corpo VTs to say anything, since taking a position as the face of a business is basically kissing your job goodbye. But there's no reason indie creators shouldn't say something at least enough times to show solidarity and to weed out the chuds from their community. I love the chud distinction of people that are against your brand of political nonsense. Chuds. What even is a chud? I will never understand, but it sounds cool. Chadwick. I dedicate my feeds to elevating marginalized group voices because that's who I am. I want to share those voices to my followers so they can be heard, but that's not a requirement. Just speaking out in between regular posts is enough. Just saying you support these groups and causes. Yes, it's enough to say that you support current thing. Whether you do something else about that is a completely different thing entirely. Spread awareness as far as you can to your non-followers 5 hours later with no interactions. And if the only reason you aren't speaking out is because you're worried about losing out on money or followers, that should give you all the more reason to speak out. One of the most sinister ways capitalism upholds white supremacy is by tying it to how much money you can get. Just remaining apolitical in online communities only benefits white supremacy. Doing so in order to protect business interests just upholds white supremacy. It's always the whitey's fault, isn't it? If you decide not to speak, you're supporting something bad, and it has to do with white people, because white people are the cause of all the things bad in the world. Political mind rot. This is why I don't like to talk about these things. It's also deranged and nonsensical. Don't let that stop you from speaking out, because speaking out is the only way to break that cycle. Also, quite frankly, if the slaughter and displacement of Palestinians and Sudanese and the exploitation of children in Congo doesn't compel you to at least speak out in condemnation, I hesitate to think what will. You know, I think the default position on exploiting children and genocide is, I think it's bad. I don't think it takes much, to think that it's common sense to be within that position. But what do I know? You think white people are bad and are the cause of all the world's evils, and being apolitical supports really bad things. So what do I know? I'm just a chud. But let's continue. Let's go back to February of this year. To give you a little bit of context about this whole thing, to explain why Aurora in particular is disingenuous and will use anyone's tragedy, even a personal one, in order to get attention. Do you remember the Hogwarts Legacy thing? Of course you do. How could you not know it if you're a viewer of my channel? But in case you do not, you can go and watch all the other videos on my channel about it. There's many that explore this sort of thing. But one of the parts of that whole thing was that the VTuber called Silverveil decided to play Hogwarts Legacy, and she got absolutely attacked by Twitter activists because of that, saying that she supports J.K. Rowling, that she's a transphobe, that she's dangerous, and all kinds of nonsense that she would tie into that. And at one point, Silverveil had a stream, actually had 2 streams. In one, she broke down as her family and close friends were getting attacked and even doxxed for this sort of thing. And, you know, it is what it is. But then, seeing the completely vile response to that video of her crying people saying that she's crying crocodile tears, that all of this is to get attention, and she's just an incredibly bad person for doing that. She called people that abuse others, that go on Twitter in order to harass people over a damn video game, Twitter freaks, adding later on Discord that, you know, her trans friends, LGBTQ plus people are awesome in a statement outright made on Discord. And Twitter freaks are not awesome. But of course, the said Twitter freaks decided to take it all the way and say that she's referring to trans people as Twitter freaks. Just wholesale. And if you know anything about Silverveil, she advertises herself as a comfy streamer. And after she made that second stream of hers where she called people Twitter freaks, people decided, at least, you know, the people that said that dude watched her before, decided to leave and say that she's not their comfy streamer anymore and that she doesn't have a safe space. They don't have a safe space in their streams anymore and things like that. So here comes Aurora saying this, that she's a comfy streamer now too. I'll be your new comfy streamer, completely using Silverveil's, you know, tragedy to advertise herself, just as she was doing with the, you know, current political issues going on in that thread at the beginning of this video, just like that. And she had some other things to say as well. Jokes aside, my community is a safe space for the trans community and the whole LGBTQIA plus community. Trans rights are human rights. You are loved. Also looking for trans creators to join me for stream gathering next week. We don't have to talk about what's going on. Really appreciate what you're doing here, especially having the consideration not to force difficult or even dangerous topic on your guests if they're not in the mood to discuss it. No worries, I'm not trans, so I can't imagine the difficulty these past few days have been on them. Yes, it has been difficult on them, not the people getting harassed over a stupid damn video game. I just want everyone to feel comfortable to stream again. I hope I can use my channel to bring that joy back. They deserve that and so much more. I know we can have a comfy hang. And then there's more, which really shows where Aurora's head is in this whole conversation. Trans kids are being killed. They're being attacked, hurt, and punished for being themselves. I don't understand what people don't get about that. Killed, life lost, families losing their loved ones. Yeah, hate does produce more hate, and that's wrong, but there's a bigger picture here. Being doxxed, being ostracized, and being ousted for playing a game does not compare to the lives lost and being stolen daily. This is a completely terrible statement to make. You know, two wrongs set upon each other being compared like that, you know. Yeah, this one thing bad, but this one thing is less bad because the other thing worse. Holy hell. You might finally feel the burden of dislike, but our trans loved ones have been feeling that 100 times over the years. They deserve better and they deserve support. I stand with trans rights. All of this just comes as supremely fake and just as a bid for attention. I will not believe otherwise, considering the opinions of this person, and once more, using people's strategies just to get ahead. This is why VTubers shouldn't speak on political issues, because not only is it misinformed, not only does it lacks nuance, it usually is a bit for attention. It's a bit to get popular with, you know, the cool kids, because current thing it is cool, and it's once more a fashion trend to be able to talk about things like that. But let me tell you something that's like completely serious. It's not jokingly. If you decided to go to Gaza and get directly involved in that activism, you wouldn't be able to speak about that because you're a woman. And this is not a sexist statement. You don't know how the culture there is. You wouldn't be able to speak out because you wouldn't have the right to do so. I get it that you want to support people. You know, you want to support other people, in preventing other people getting killed. But think about it. Think about all the nuances. Think about all the things going behind the scenes. It's never that simple. It's never as simple as saying you support a current thing and then everything gets solved. Spreading awareness, bare minimum, but how you spread that awareness is important. And if you do it like this, you're just beating your own causes and just turning people against you, dividing your community, dividing other people as well. Because if you want to be an activist, at least be a smart one. Don't be like this. Don't be so painfully transparent about what you want to do. But for right now, that's everything. I hope to see you on the next one.